What is a parallel reality? What are parallel dimensions? This is something that you hear people with spiritual channels or gurus talk about all the time, that we could shift timelines or we could quantum shift into a parallel reality. So what exactly is a parallel reality? So I went into a deep meditation and I asked this question, and this is what I got back. So the best way that I could explain it is, think about a parallel reality the same way you look at a photo. Okay, a photo in and of itself is a parallel reality. It is timeless. So this is a parallel reality. 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 Okay, and no matter how similar these parallel realities look to each other, they have nothing to do with each other, and each parallel reality is timeless. All right, so now I want you to imagine there is one picture for everything that has ever happened, and then one picture for everything that will ever happen. So think about all of these frames of pictures. All of them exist for everything that has ever happened, everything that will ever happen, and each of these pictures is its own timeless reality. Okay, timeless parallel reality. And you could think of all of these photos being stored on the Amazon Web Services or the Google servers of the universe, so you have access to any of these parallel realities. Okay, so now that we understand what a parallel reality is, what is a timeline? Well, a timeline is made up of specific parallel realities. So for myself, I was born in Japan. I moved to California before the age of 1. I went to UCLA. I became a tech sales worker. Then I became a cannabis entrepreneur. Then I started doing these types of videos, right? So if you think about all the different photos of my life, living in Japan, moving to California, getting into UCLA, going into the tech world, going into the cannabis industry. Think about all those different photos. They align into a film strip. And then my consciousness is like a projector, playing all of those photos at 30 frames per second, so it seems like one continuous timeline. Okay, and so as I said, each of these photos, each of these parallel realities look very similar to each other. So when you play them at 24 frames per second, it looks like one smooth, seamless timeline that you exist in. Okay, and so what I want to talk about now is that when people make predictions of the future, there is no specific future because it is everything, everywhere, all at once, right? All of these parallel realities, everything that has ever happened, everything that will ever happen, all of these parallel realities already exist. Now, the timeline of the different experiences that we take, if I move to New York instead of moving to California, well, those will be a different set of photos or different set of parallel realities that I access. So there is Sabo that lives in California, there is Sabo that lives in New York. And depending on what decision Sabo makes at this inflection point, either Sabo moves to New York or Sabo moves to California. All those possibilities are available to me until I make that decision. So when psychics, mediums are making predictions of the future, they can only predict based on the energy, based on the direction that the collective consciousness is going. Most likely, this is what is going to happen. And that is the beauty. That is the power that we have with our consciousness, is to decide today what we want to do, to take action, and then to start shifting the parallel realities that we want to experience into the timeline that we actually experience. So to me, this is the best, easiest way to explain what a parallel reality is. Now, just to take this analogy a little bit further, if you are similar to age in me, I'm 48 years old, or if you're old enough to remember when you were younger and watching movies in class, they used to put that film roll onto the projector will play the film roll, and then we would watch it. We would watch it from beginning, middle, and end. But if you are the film projectionist, you already know that all of those individual frames for that movie, for that film that we're watching, already exist. But we need to watch it in a certain sequence for it to make sense to us, because we experience time linearly, beginning, middle, and end. So once you understand that all possibilities exist at the same time, you start understanding that there is no past life, there is no future life, there is just everything, everywhere, all at once. Okay, so now I want to move into the time travel paradox. What is the time travel paradox? Well, the time travel paradox, or the grandfather paradox, is it's 2024 right now. If you, the viewer, and we make a time machine in 2024. We go back in time to 1971, before my parents had ever met. We prevent them from meeting. I'm never born. Well, who builds that time machine with you in 2024? Well, what's actually happening is we're not going back in time, because everything, everywhere, all at once is happening in the present moment, meaning the 1800s is happening right now in a parallel reality. The year 3000 is happening right now in another parallel reality. So let's just say we live in timeline A. Okay, so we don't go back in time in timeline A, we go to timeline Z, where it is 1971. My parents have yet to meet yet. We prevent them from meeting. So Sabo, I do not exist in timeline Z, but then there is still full continuity in timeline A. So we're actually going to another parallel reality where in the present moment, my parents haven't met. We're not going back in time, because if we go back in time, of course, that breaks the continuity of me and you building that time machine in 2024. So this is how the everything, everywhere, all at once paradigm allows you to explain the time travel paradox, allows us to better understand what is time, what is motion. Well, motion is going through all of these parallel realities at a frame rate or a flicker rate quick enough where it seems like one continuous fluid motion. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions based on my examples, and I would love to see any comments below about time travel, parallel realities, parallel timelines. And thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button, hit the notification button, share this with a friend that's into time travel, and I'll be back with another video to talk about all things spiritual.